Welcome to Zero's Game Room, where all things gaming takes place. Interviews, discussions, and the latest gaming news. So take a seat, get comfortable, adjust your headset, because it's game time. Here are your hosts, Zero and Grayson.
Welcome to Garrison's Game Grotoo. I'm Garrison King, where we talk about real video games, awesome platform, the best that ever do it.
Whoa. Who let this guy on the show?
Time out. Hit the brake.
Hit the brake.
Full stop.
Whoa. Garrison King? What are you doing here?
I figured, it's an Xbox-themed podcast. I figure I'm the aficionado in your circle to talk about it. And if you guys really want to talk about video games, I'm the guy to do it.
I mean, he kind of has a point.
I mean, he does have a point where he is the Xbox aficionado for us because we don't mess with Xbox too much.
Lax box.
Yeah, lax box. You
Wow.
know, it's
okay,
or
all
trash
right.
box, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
You know,
Gloves off early. Okay.
that's how we do it here in Zero's
Okay.
Game Room.
Keeping it real.
Well, this is not the first time you've been on, but we did want to bring Garrison King back, and of course, he has to take over the show because clearly, when he's on the show, it is his show. I guess.
mean, he is the king.
He is the king. But really quick, he did go to E3. You were actually at E3.
I was there, and it was a hell of a week. A lot of walking, a lot of waiting, but really good stuff and exciting stuff to come out of all of the show. Show-wide is pretty exciting. So,
like the press conferences and whatnot. But when it came down to it, you mostly focused on Xbox, right?
Yeah, for the most part. I tried to get my hands on Smash Brothers, but that didn't happen the way I wanted it to.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got rope-a-doped. I was supposed to play it. I was supposed to have a meeting set up, but it fell through at the last minute.
Oh, that's terrible. That's terrible. But when it came to Xbox, what kinds of things did you experience? Did you see the press conferences? What were you excited? Because that's what we're here to have you of. You're our Xbox expert.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Expert. Yeah. I actually went to the press conference. Microsoft was kind enough to invite me this year. And it was a lot of hype. I think altogether they showed like 50 games. Handful of those exclusives. But really, I think what really got me excited for Microsoft was the fact that it's planning for the future. I think they understand that PlayStation really has, a chokehold on this generation, not only in terms of exclusive, but just in terms of install base. There's a lot more PS4s out there than our Xbox Ones. But I think one thing I've always loved about Microsoft and Xbox is that they keep the player community in mind, and they understand how to, apologize for the launch of the Xbox, essentially, and also take care of its fan base that it has currently with things like Xbox Game Pass. They announced their new big games in their series with Halo Infinite and Gears 5 and the new Forza Horizon game, which are all big staples in the Xbox exclusive.
Forza's huge for Alan Bailey, our friend Alan Bailey of the Nerdgasm podcast.
Yeah, he loves that thing.
Yeah, and it looks dope. But also just announcing some partnerships with third-party exclusive, like Xbox will have an exclusive beta for Fallout 76, which is really dope. And I think, for me, the most exciting thing was that they announced 5 new studios that they have acquired and one that they're starting from the ground up to create those exclusive experiences that a lot of gamers crave when they buy their gaming system.
Yeah, because that was kind of the things that I tuned in a little bit to the Xbox conference. I can't go in being like, I might not be a fan of it, but what they did pull out was like you said, they're working with more developers, because I feel like a lot of people complain about the Xbox not having any exclusives, because that's what the PlayStation is like king of. Like, we have a ton of exclusives over here.
Yeah, and and don't get me wrong, like Sony has, for as little as they did show, the stuff that they did show is stuff to really be excited about. Like, I saw gameplay for the new Spider-Man. We finally got to see Death Stranding, which makes everyone even more confused.
Naked Norman Reedus, I know.
Yeah,
baby fetuses and crazy stuff.
Yeah, but what really got me for Sony was Ghost of Tsushima. That's the samurai game.
That game looked beautiful with the trees and everything.
That might be the one that actually makes me pull the trigger and get a PS4. I'm like, ooh, this looks kind of sick.
Oh,
this
what?
look kind of sick.
Can you repeat that so we can have that on the record? You what? You gonna what?
I think there's some interference on my end. I don't know if I can hear what you guys are saying.
So what you're saying is that you're going to get us Ghost of Tsushima.
I can neither confirm nor deny that.
No, but that game does look very
it
beautiful.
is so beautiful.
It looks ill.
I will, I'll be nice. I took the gloves off early, but maybe I should put them back on. Xbox arguably, potentially, maybe had I don't know, but arguably had the best conference, maybe-ish.
I would say overall, I feel, and even taking my bias out of it, I feel like it had a better conference just in terms of generating hype, and it's obvious that they're playing for the future with the services of Game Pass, with the announcement of the studios. They're getting people more excited for the games. Like they got their Xbox One X, all that messaging out the way, and now they can focus on games. And I think that's exactly what a player that, even if you don't have an Xbox, that's what you want to hear when you think of E3 is like, okay, well, what can we play on your super beast of a machine, your Xbox One X? And, they're announcing all these games. They're announcing big staples in their franchises with Gears and Halo Infinite. So that's enough to generate a lot of conversation around Xbox, which I think people are excited about.
What did you feel, or how did it make you feel when you heard that they were potentially they were like the same team who worked on the Xbox One X? They're currently working on newer generations of do you think they're going to come out with a new Xbox within 2 to 3 years? Because PlayStation has gone on record saying that the next PlayStation isn't coming out for another at least 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, I think that's the window. 3 years tops. I would like to see this go a little farther than that, because I think there's just still more capabilities with the current gen systems. And I think that the life cycle could last a little bit longer than, the 360 PS3 could, or the PS2 and the OG Xbox could. There's a lot of technology crammed in these boxes, man, they haven't even been tapped yet. So, but yeah, 2 to 3 years sounds about right. For me hearing that, I'm like, dang, already? I just got this Xbox One X, and I'm like, man, I gotta start saving up for the next
Xbox
one.
One X, huh?
Yeah, I do. So when I heard that, I'm like, okay, that's cool. It's good. How they said it, I think, was perfect. Hey, yeah, the people that made your Xbox One X, they're working on the next Xbox. He didn't say when it's coming out. He just said, hey, don't worry, we're thinking of the future.
And then one of the things that I wanted to find out was, of course, games. Is there another game that you were really interested in, that you've kind of got a little bit more of a hype for?
One of the games. Do you mean exclusive to Xbox or just in general?
In general.
Why not both? Give us your most anticipated game, and then give us an Xbox exclusive anticipated game.
Okay, so for my most anticipated game of the show, I would say it would be Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay,
I feel like that might be a lot of people's favorites, because it's Super Smash Brothers.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean that conference and announcement was hella long, more than it needed to be, but
it was 20 minutes worth. It was over half of Nintendo's conference.
I'm like, man, we get it. Everyone's gonna be in this, but I'm really excited for that, and just excited for the future possibilities of characters that they could bring in. Which I'm sure you guys will dedicate a show to about who they could bring in.
Of course. I mean, the fact that the fan favorite, because everybody was always saying Ridley, but people were saying Ridley can't be in it, he's too big. But Daddy Sakurai was able to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll praise Daddy Sakurai.
I'm going to go on record and say that they're going to bring Sora in some way.
No way.
I don't think so.
I think they're going to bring Sora in somehow, some way. He fits in with that motif.
They're going to have to basically try and port the entire Kingdom Hearts saga over to the Nintendo. So, I mean...
Well, they've had Kingdom Hearts games on a Nintendo platform, and I think that's all that matters.
They had one game, Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories.
Oh, they had the DS. What was the DS game?
Oh, well, yeah, that's true.
358
358 over 2 days and recoded. I guess, yeah, you got.
That's all you need, man. Because they
we
got
don't
Metal
talk about
Gear.
those ones. We don't talk about.
They got Cloud from Final Fantasy VII. They got Ryu. So
that's true. I didn't see Final Fantasy. I didn't see Cloud coming.
If we keep it to a vote, or we see what's popular, maybe that could happen. But I mean, I kind of feel to me that's a little too much of a stretch.
We'll see.
Yeah.
That's my prediction.
All right.
So Xbox exclusive. What was the game you're hyped about that?
The one that I really wanted to play is this game called Ori and the Will of the Wisps. It's a sequel to Ori and the Blind Forest, which came out, I think, in 2015.
Tell us more about that, because a PS fanatic.
Exactly.
I don't even think Grayson knows.
I was going to say.
And we know a lot of games, but
Yeah.
No, please.
Explain it to us, dum-dums.
Shit. I was going to say, let us suck from your teat of knowledge, Mr. Garrison King.
Well,
Gotta be a better way to say that. It's weird.
I also felt weird saying Mr. Garrison King, because I was like, Mr. Garrison. Go ahead.
So Ori it's a platformer, kind of a 2.5D platformer adventure game, kind of akin to Metroid. Kind of has the Metroidvania.
Is it kind of like Metroidvania where you get weapons, or what's it like?
Yeah, you get kind of upgrades to your attacks. You get upgrades to your movement abilities. Really, just fluid platforming in a very beautiful setting. If you ever get a chance, I believe Ori, the first one is available on PC, and I think it's for sale right now. So if you get a chance to check it out on Steam, I suggest you guys do it, because it's really fun. If you like those kind of games. I think it's one of the best, and just like a really great story, very emotionally moving, that I didn't even expect for me to be like, oh man, this okay, and like it really caught me off guard. So I'm really looking forward to the next one. I actually got a chance to play it.
Because that's kind of where I wanted to segue into next, because not only were you at the conferences, you were actually still there at E3 to be able to test some of the games.
Yeah. So that was one that I wanted to play. I wanted to play Kingdom Hearts, but I kind of played myself because I got invited to a lot of, not interviews, but just, what are they called?
I think they were called, they were all called appointments. That's how you play, the really big ones, like Kingdom Hearts, and the really big anticipated one. You had to do them by appointment.
Yeah.
Weird. So what happened there?
So I played myself, and because this is like my second year being super official with Media Pass, and so I got appointments. And this year I kind of just loaded up on appointments, just assuming that it's all going to be secret games and whatnot. And there's another game too. I'll get to that in a second. But I didn't get to play some of the other games that they had just out on the floor because I'm running back and forth to different appointments.
Right.
So kind of played myself with that one. But yeah, I did get my hands on Ori and the Will of the Wisp, man. I'm really looking forward to it, man. I got to talk to some of the developers afterwards, and they're really excited. And you always love to see them care about their baby and see people enjoy all the time and effort that they put into the game, see people enjoy that. So that was dope.
And then, at least for me, one of the games that I'm really a big fan of is Devil May Cry. Did you get a chance to play with that a little?
Was that on the floor? Or, yeah,
I didn't see it on the floor. I don't think they had hands-on stuff, and maybe it was behind closed doors, and I didn't get invited to see it. But Devil May Cry, when they showed it in the Xbox conference, that room went crazy.
Oh yeah,
especially when they showed Dante.
Like OG Dante, right?
Yeah,
Dante with the white hair, the total badass. Because no offense to Devil May Cry, but once they brought in that new Dante kid, and they even made fun of the old Dante. I don't know if you remember that. At one point, the mask comes in and he takes it off, and it's just why'd y'all gotta do that?
Right.
But I'm excited for Devil May Cry.
Oh, yeah.
Devil May Cry is one of those series that I played very much a lot on the PS2. Number 2 wasn't that great. 1 was a good one. 2 was okay. 3 was...
To me, 3 I thought was the best,
the
even
pinnacle.
though it was a prequel.
Yeah, it was a prequel, but it's still, I feel, just game mechanics and story and everything.
Yeah.
It was the pinnacle of it. Actually, I think fun fact... Resident, I know you're like, why are you bringing up Resident Evil? One of the Resident Evil games this is just a history fun fact if you didn't know. Back in the day, they were working on a Resident Evil right before Resident Evil 4 came out. And one of the demos for Resident Evil 4 actually was transferred and became Devil May Cry.
Oh,
so
wow.
Resident Evil 4, which I'm playing through right now again for the billionth time, actually is the reason Devil May Cry exists.
Oh.
How crazy is that?
That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, just a little fun fact that you can take with you. That's just another great thing that PlayStation does.
Wow. PlayStation has Shut up.
I always had to bring it back, right?
Yeah, shut up, man.
So, another thing, maybe you know this a little bit more, at least for Devil May Cry. Do you happen to know if, like, this is mostly Nero's story, or are they going to do the same thing that they did for the previous game?
From what I saw, I think they're going to do kind of weave them in. I mean, I'm hoping. Like I said, I didn't get to see much outside of the conference, so everything I got was just like arbitrary stuff that I read through articles and stuff, which is just reiterating what I saw in the trailer. So hopefully, I will say my hopes are that, yes, they weave Dante into the story a little bit more. Because Nero's all right.
Yeah,
he ain't these little bees.
But Dante is the OG, man. It's like...
Oh, yeah. Like, when we were playing, or when I was playing the, Devil May Cry 4, I was kind of sad that it wasn't Dante. I honestly, like, I was a little offended. And then all of a sudden, like, you play through the first half of the game, and then after that, you finally get Dante, and you're like, oh, now I feel like I have to go back and play all the other games because I didn't get enough Dante.
Exactly. So hopefully he's featured a little bit more. I mean, it looks like they're really leaning into Nero, but just seeing Dante at the end of that trailer kind of gives me hope.
Yeah, do you kind of get the feel that they're maybe moving Dante out? Because it looks to me like they're kind of aging him quite a bit.
He looked a little old manny. But the way that they brought the creator of the series out after the announcement trailer, and he was like, "Yo, it's back, back to what it used to be." So I don't really know what that means, but hopefully it means more Dante. Maybe he is taking on that mentorship role with Nero, or maybe he's like the go-to OP guy to beat the final boss.
That'll be interesting how they do that. Now, one of the last things I want to talk about before we wrap up the show, we talked a lot about the highs. Now, do you believe, and maybe this is not the question I should be asking you, were there any lows for Xbox for the conference?
I would say
because I even critique PlayStation, and like, you know, let's be critical about this. We already know Xbox is trash, but what was their trash about?
There go the gloves again.
Oh, God.
You can't put me and Garrison in the same room about that type of stuff.
I just want to say, I haven't said anything bad about PlayStation on this
He's
podcast.
actually been really good.
Well, because he can't say anything bad because we're amazing.
Okay. All right.
You can't critique perfection.
I'm gonna just hold my tongue there. One of the low points for me is, I think we all had expectations. Xbox fans had expectations of stuff that was going to be announced, and it wasn't. I mean, it was cool to see a Halo trailer. Didn't see any gameplay. Surprisingly, saw gameplay for a new Gears, and it's focusing on a homegirl, which I forget.
Homegirl. Yeah, I forget her name, but there's still some of the cast of the original one. Yeah.
So that was cool, but when they did Gears, they just showed the logo. They played the chainsaw, and then coming out busting is one of those Funko Pop dolls.
Oh yeah, that was weird. That was weird. I was like,
and that just took all the wind out of the sails leading up to Gears 5. I'm like, man.
Yeah, they should have. I mean, I feel like they could have talked about that separately or just at some other time. But you got to go in guns, like, no pun intended, but guns blazing with Gears. Yeah. Gears is very manly, very just rip things apart. You destroy the locusts, and now it's just like you think you see the logo and you're like, Gears? What the hell? A Funko Pop? And it's like, it's like, what? What is this?
Yeah, no one asked for that. So I would say that was a low. Not necessarily a low, but definitely disappointment towards my expectations. Other than that, it was perfect, just like Xbox.
Okay.
I do want to say there's another game that I got to see. It's called Control. It's from Remedy, the people that made Quantum Break, the people that did Alan Wake, Max Payne.
Alan Wake, yeah. Oh, wow, Max Payne. That was a big one.
So they have a new game coming out. It's called Control. It's kind of a supernatural third-person shooter, and I got to see that with the devs, and that might be my game of the show because I was like,
Really? You think that's the game that took the show?
For me. I'm not saying anything else because I get, like, Spider-Man looked really dope. Ghost of Tsushima looks really dope. Last of Us Part 2. Pokemon, Smash Brothers. Like, there's a lot of good stuff to get excited about, but I think Control might be a sleeper hit
Okay.
Just
That's
seeing
something
it.
that we need to keep our ears and eyes open for.
Yeah, look out for that one because I really like Remedy. I really like what they do. Like they've mastered the whole third-person shooter, and this is a whole like Max Payne with the bullet time and stuff. Like that was ahead
Max
of its-
Payne, yeah.
Yeah, it was ahead of its time. So the stuff that they add in this one, where you have superpowers, telekinesis, and your gun is like supernatural in itself. So it's pretty dope. So if you haven't checked that out because I think that's going to be a sleeper hit.
Wow. And last real quick one because they were already hitting the 20-minute mark. Rating out of like 10, what would you give Xbox overall?
The conference?
Yes, just the conference.
I would say 9 out of 10.
Okay. I honestly,
All right,
even
all right.
though because of my unbiased, I'd still give it like a solid 8 out of 10. It was very, I like it when the developers come out and explain their game, their love child, not just, here's a bunch of games, bye kids.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
Yeah,
that's
which is
one
what
thing
Xbox did last year.
Right, yeah.
But the fact that, they announced these 5 new studios, including Ninja Theory, which did
Right.
Hellblade and Heavenly
Oh,
Sword.
yeah.
Yep.
That was big to me. Like I got really excited when I saw that because I'm just now playing through Hellblade since it was Sacrifice or whatever, and I'm like, ooh, okay, these guys know what they're doing. So I'm excited for Xbox to partner with them.
I guess that's something we're going to have to keep an eye on. And maybe, just maybe, one day I can say, Xbox is pretty decent.
All right.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's
I don't
really
know.
not that hard.
I don't know if I'll ever admit that out loud. So
Yeah, well,
If you want to ignore superiority for the rest of your life, you can live your life in the darkness.
see, it's hard to see superiority when they're so far below you.
Grayson! Bring it! Finally he took his gloves off. Finally! This is the best show ever. But thank you, Garrison King, for being on the show, for taking the time to talk about Xbox, the conference, and your experiences there at E3.
Yeah, anytime, guys. Always down. Ava's always down, so
The young Aves, you're raising her right. Watch. Next thing you know, she's going to be on the podcast.
I know.
She wants to. But thank
tell
you
them
very
Xbox
much.
is the best.
Yeah, but thank you very much again, man.
All right, fellas, y'all take it easy.
Well, that wraps up another episode of Zero's Game Room. Want to give a special thanks to my graphics designer at Trekit on Twitter and at David_Ritter for voicing my intro. Keep up to date with the podcast by liking it on Facebook at Zero's Gaming Room and on Twitter at Zero's Game Room. Until next time, GG with a definite re.